All right. So we are going to begin the hearing on position 22 here momentarily. It is the petitioner's case and burden of proof, so they will go first. Any witnesses that either of you have that is not yourself, the witnesses need to wait elsewhere, and we will call them into the room when they're ready. And the reason for that is that we don't want them listening to the testimony of other parties and then changing their testimony to either match or dispute things that have already been testified to. So just understand that advisement. It's the petitioner's case, so they go first. They give all their testimony. Typically, I guide the questioning in that process, and then they are subject to questioning by the other party. From there, if they have other witnesses, they call those witnesses, and only when they're done calling witnesses is it the respondent's turn to give their own testimony or bring their own witnesses. It can be a frustrating process to wait through when you have things to say, especially things you want to disagree with, but that's the way that they designed this. So that's the way we got to do it. So with all of that said, ma'am, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand for me.
Me?
Yes, you're the petitioner.
Sorry, let me put it more up.
So Ms. McConno, do you swear the statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right, you have filed this petition against the respondent, who is your brother and someone you were living with. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And when you two were living together recently, he was arrested for a crime against you. Can you tell me what happened to cause him to be arrested?
I came home from work before it turned 12 a.m. I think it was about 11:50 before it turned midnight. I walk up to the apartment, and once I opened the door with my key, a tad bit, all I heard was "don't touch," and seeing a person's back of their back and head of the edge of the hallway, which is directed towards the door. And I had no idea what was going on. I just walked in the door, went to the kitchen because I had a smoothie that I made that day and wanted to refrigerate it. And once I opened the top freezer, which is the only working fridge that we have at that apartment, I see a box of Popsicle in front of the fridge with a note of a Sharpie handwritten letter saying, "Don't fucking touch Lilia." And I have no clue what is that, basically. I don't know anything about Popsicles. I just put back, closed the fridge, went to my room because there wasn't any room for me to put my smoothie in. So I just went to my room and I opened the door and I seen basically all my stuff thrown everywhere, a mess, and even my bed frame on top of everything, and had no idea what was going on because I didn't leave my room like that. Before that, my room was really clean. So I closed the door, not closed the door. I went to the hallway asking my brother, the one who's not have autism. I asked, what happened in my room? And he said, you shouldn't have touched my Popsicle. I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm saying all I'm caring about is my stuff, because it looks like everything destroyed. Asking him again, what happened to my stuff? He said, you shouldn't have touched my Popsicle. I go in my room, seeing that, what's going on and stuff, and I hear him telling me from the hallway, all I did was threw your stuff around, and I was relieved that it wasn't, my suitcases that has the stuff that I need. So I was calm about that. I try to, I was in my head, okay, just let it go and stuff like that. At least it's not the stuff that, that's really, really important to me. But he mentioned that he did this because of he felt like I touched his popsicle, which I know I didn't. I didn't uh, touch his popsicle. All I ate was all that went in my body that day was my smoothie and water and a cookie from Chick-fil-A that I got at my work during my break. And I just got really angry and frustrated because I know that I'm innocent, that, you know, like I got angry as, as a human being. So I went to go talk to him in the hallway saying that I promise you, I didn't touch your popsicle. And he didn't believe me. And I said, you know what, his name, you're a hypocrite. That's who you are. You're just, and I said something that triggered him. I said that, you're just like our father, using his name and saying Junior. And once I said that, he turned to me looking at angry eyes in the hallway, straight at me, grabbed his hands to pin me down, put his large fingers down my throat so I couldn't breathe, and had his other hand on my hair to pin me down and press me on the floor of the hallway, and putting his whole body on me where I can't even move while he's put his fingers in me where I can't breathe, and I'm trying to squirm for air. And he's explaining why he's angry at me and stuff like that. And I eventually, try to bite his fingers in my mouth and pulled his hair so he could get off of me. But that just made it worse. It caused him to, really put his whole body on me and his finger down my throat hard where I can't even move. And he says what he needed to say. And I'm just standing there just hoping, he gets off of me soon. And he grabs my head with my hair and press and grab my head on my hair and banged, yeah, that's the word, banged my head on the floor while he's on me and has his finger still down my throat three times, and snatch a piece of my extension with my hair, my natural hair strap attached to it. But I also forgot, before that part, I bit his finger and grabbed his hair so he could try to get off of me in the middle of it. But at the end, he banged my head on the floor 3 times and snatched a piece of my hair extension, basically ripped it out and stuff like that. I felt, the pain of it out of my head once he eventually got off of me. So that's what he was arrested for.
So who else was in the home when this happened?
Just my other brother who has autism, who is the only witness for this, but he has autism. He can't really speak for me or for him.
All right. Sir, I'm going to send you a prompt to unmute. If there are questions you think I need to ask this witness, I can ask them at your suggestion if I think that's appropriate. However, you should keep in mind you'll have the opportunity to give your own testimony and call other witnesses to testify as well if you're inclined to do so.
Okay. Could you ask her to elaborate on the conversation we had between her coming home and me supposedly attacking her? Hello?
All right, so go ahead and state your question one more time. You can ask it directly to her.
Okay. Could you Could you go more into detail about the conversation we had between you getting home and me allegedly attacking you? Because it sounded like you just said that, I explained I didn't eat his popsicles, and then I said that he was and then I called him the name after my dad, when you didn't really explain the conversation we had. Like, I feel like you're leaving, like, in your part, you're leaving out a lot.
I try to talk to you about eating your that you believe that I ate your popsicles. You wouldn't let me. You try to cover your ears when I was trying to talk to you about it. Eventually you let go of your ears. I'm telling you that I promise you, Kalanda, I didn't eat your popsicles, and you said you only care about your self. And I said, you know what, Kalanda, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, just like our father. Just like our father. You're Joseph McConnell Jr. And after I said that, then you attacked me. We barely had a conversation because you were trying to avoid the conversation with me. You wouldn't let me say anything out of my mouth.
That was the only question I had, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, did you have any other witnesses you intended to have testify today?
No, I don't have any witnesses, but I have been talking to people who know about my situation with my brother. I went to her house one time the day
Who's her?
my neighbor Rihanna.
Okay, well, are they going to testify today?
No.
Okay. All right. So she has rested. Sir, you have the opportunity to testify or remain silent. You also have the ability to call witnesses other than yourself. How would you like to proceed?
I would like to tell my side of the story, if that's possible.
That works. Please raise your right hand for me. Do you swear any statements you make will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
I swear that I'm telling the truth.
All right. Thank you. You can put your hand down. What would you like to tell us today?
So it's a little more complicated than that. See, Your Honor, I feel like I feel like a lot of this needs to be said. I stay away from my sister. My sister has caused a lot of prior to me being arrested, the police had been to my house 5 times since the beginning of the month of May. The police had been to my house 5 times because of my sister for different situations. I try my hardest to stay away from my sister. My mother tells me that she could possibly have mental problems because my brother does. Like, I have many situations where my sister has blown up. Like, my responsibility is to take care of my brother who has mental illness. Like, he can't speak for himself. There are many things he can't do for himself. And my sister does nothing whatsoever to take care of him. And I understand that. She's 24 years old. She has her own life. But like, I tried to give him a shower and my sister walks past the room and then she goes out of her way to tell my girlfriend lies about me. A year ago, she attacked me with a knife because I was listening to music and she said, and I couldn't hear what she was saying. So she attacks me with a knife saying, "Don't make fun of deaf people," which truly, so I try my hardest to stay away from my sister. In my household, me and my mother and my brother who gets government checks, we pay for groceries. We pay for, we pay the bills. We pay the phone bill, which my sister is also a part of. My sister is the only person in this house who does not financially contribute. She doesn't clean. She doesn't wash any dishes. At the time, and me and my mother are the cooks of the house. We cook dinner, which my sister eats. She has never cooked dinner for any of us. At the time, I had bought popsicles for myself, and I did write a note on them, which did not say the F word on them at all. I wrote a note on Ali, please. My brother has autism. He keeps walking in the room.
That's okay.
At the time, our fridge is broken and we only have a freezer that works. My sister buys her own groceries that she puts in plastic bags, and she takes all of our stuff out of the freezer and she puts her own stuff in. At the time, I had bought popsicles that were only for me and my brother that I paid for myself. A lot of the times we have to buy dinner for me and my mother have to buy dinner for all of us. And we do, and we buy dinner for the whole family. But this was just something I had bought for myself. And I wrote a note on them asking my sister, please not to touch them, because I know that I know how my sister eats when I had gotten home from driving around, from taking care of my brother, from bringing home from my work, my mother fasts, so she doesn't eat after 6 p.m. and before 6 a.m. And I bought the popsicles earlier that morning. And when I came home with my brother, who had been with me all day, my sister, I come home to the freezer, and my sister doesn't eat orange popsicles. So there were about 5 orange popsicles half opened and left out. And that frustrated me a little bit because this was something I bought for myself. I had asked my sister not to eat. My mother doesn't eat or drink between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. My brother doesn't eat unless I feed him. So I was a little frustrated about that. And I did walk into my sister's room. I did not break anything. There was a box with some papers in them that I had emptied, because I usually try my hardest to stay away from her. I never indicate any problems between us, but I had asked, without making any contact with her, I had asked her very nicely not to touch popsicles. And I admit it's immature. It was just one thing I wanted to myself. It was just popsicles. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I emptied a box of some papers in her room. That was it. Just a box of papers that I unloaded in her room on the floor. I didn't break anything. I didn't damage anything else in her room. Later that day, she came home around between 10 and 11, and I was just about to go pick my mother up from work, which is my responsibility. My mother had gotten off work at 11 o'clock, and it was my job to go pick her up. About right before I'm about to go, my brother is laying down in my mother's room. He's watching TV. My sister comes and sees what I did in her room, and she gets upset about it. And while I did tell her that I told you not to touch my popsicles, and she did tell me she didn't. And I told her what indicated for me to know that it was her. There were orange popsicles half opened, the wrappers open and just left in the in the freezer, which I had told her many times before in the past, please don't do that, because this has happened before, and she's apologized for it, which she also did. She apologized and said, I'm sorry. After she had apologized, I really didn't want to hear anything else she had to say. I didn't want to get into a fight with her. So I kept yelling at my brother, who's hard on being responsive. I said, Ali, let's go. We have to go pick up mom. Come on, let's go. And as my sister is trying to talk to me, I have my fingers over my ear. I'm telling my brother, Ali, let's go, let's go. I'm like repeatedly saying it. As I'm looking at my brother, I have dreadlocks. So I feel a handful of dreadlocks pulled to the end, get pulled away. And all that I had tried to do was stay as close as possible to my sister so my dreadlocks didn't get pulled out of my hair. It was during that tussle, we ended up on the ground, and as she had a grip on my hair, my fingers were close to her mouth. My fingers were close to her mouth, and she started to bite me. And pulling out my fingers from her mouth, I did feel, at the time I didn't realize, but I did feel me scratch the inside of her mouth, which I did. But as soon as I got my sister to let go of my hair, we at that time we had ended up on the ground. As soon as I got her to let go of my hair, I had pushed her off. I got up, I took my brother, and I went to go pick up my mother. And also, I'd like to note that I did not tell the arresting officers this at the time, because my sister has said things like this in the past. As I let go of my sister, she yells at me. As we're walking out of the door, she says to me, "Thank you, Kalonda. Thank you so much. This is all a part of my plan."
All right, ma'am, what questions do you have for him?
Sir, I did not say
Nope. What questions do you have for him?
Okay. You asked what questions I have for you.
For your brother.
I don't have any questions for my brother. Just what he said is at the end, that was a lie.
All right, well, sir, we're going to have you slide over, and we're going to have you, I think your next witness is there with you, so you can bring them in and you can kind of sit next to them and frame so that I can hear their testimony, and you'll be present for that as well. So if you need to step away to go retrieve that witness, you can do so at this time. Do you have other witnesses you intend to call?
Yes, I have my mother. She's in the other room.
All right, go ahead and get her and bring her back this way, please.
Yes, sir.
Judge Edgerton, briefly, I just sent you a consent on number 10.
All right. I think we're close to wrapping this one up. Thank you for that. All right. Ma'am, thank you for joining us. I'm going to ask if you would please raise your right hand for me today. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you make will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. State your name for the record, please.
Bilombele na Lukendo.
All right. And both of these two parties are your children. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. You were not present in the home when there was an altercation recently. You were at work. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Without going into what the parties have told you, as far as specific statements, what have you come to know about the relationship between these two?
First of all, they don't have a good relationship. My daughter doesn't have any good relationship with the rest of us. She doesn't. And for telling you, Your Honor, until right now, when the brother was in jail, before all that, the brother was in jail, my boss allowed me to bring his autistic brother at work. And it was a question of everybody at work. You said that you have 3 kids. And I have to explain to my friend at work, one of them is in jail for now, is in custody. So what about your daughter? She won't help you? What about your daughter? She won't help you?
So
they don't get along, and I'm the one, Your Honor, I'm sorry, fix the problem, put them apart. If you guys don't get along, just stay away each other for now, because since we are here in Georgia, my daughter has been a problem for me, a problem for his brother. Since the
where did you move to Georgia from?
We moved from Oregon.
Okay. So there's on some of the paperwork, there is an apartment address that's listed for Druid Hills. Was that where this incident took place?
Yes.
And what are the current living arrangements for you and your children? Who is living where?
I live with all of them together.
Okay, but like since the
Right now-
order,
Since the order, I live with my autistic son and my son. He was taking, when he come out of the jail, he was living out because he can't be near to his brother.
His sister.
He can't be near to his sister. So, and I was living with my daughter, but I was scared of myself. And I.
so what is
this.
the location? You don't need to give me the address, but did you and your sons get a different apartment?
We stayed at hotels, and I stayed in the car, Your Honor.
Yeah, and we're supposed to go to move tomorrow. We get another apartment from moving from here.
So you're working to reside at a new location.
Yes.
I've been staying.
Hang on, sir. I have to ask her the questions for this part.
Yeah.
All right. And who do you expect to live at the new location that you're moving to, ma'am?
I want to live with my son, him, and my other son, autistic. No help, please.
Okay. All right, ma'am, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes. Do I say I can't call her the government name. Mom, I did went with you to the leasing office that day to make my application, which I did. We spent before you
What
went
is
to
your question for the witness?
okay. My question is, I did the money order to put my name on the lease. So my name is on the lease. If my name is on the lease, I have a right to be there.
I remove you from the list because I paid the money order for
But-
all of us, and I remove you
Not
from
for-
the.
Not for me, I paid my own. And
Okay.
did
The-
you had to pay, what about the eviction notice?
The landlord,
The
she's
eviction notice.
holding. No,
You're supposed to make an eviction notice, though. Where is the eviction notice of you having the right to not have me there?
Are you talking about the place they don't even live yet?
Yes.
Okay, well then that's not really ripe for discussion.
And
'Cause if they-
also at North Drew Hills. My name is also on that lease and and the other apartment. Both of my names on the lease. So I have right to live at both places with my name on the lease without an eviction notice. Where is my eviction notice to have for me to officially now live there? That is the
All right.
question.
Well, it sounds like you don't have any questions for this witness. So, because that's not a question that's appropriate for this hearing. They seem to have lost their connection for the moment. So we
But
are gonna.
I have something to tell you. My brother already violated the TPO.
I'm gonna put you on mute because they're not here and this is not the time for statements. So we're gonna hold for their return and I expect they'll be back soon. In fact, what I'm gonna do is place you in the waiting room to tend to a couple of other matters very quickly. And hopefully that'll give them time to log back in or plug in their device, whatever they need to do. So we will be right back with you. Give us just a moment. All right.
Can I unmute myself?
All right. Yes, so, sir, you can keep your seat. I think we finished with all the questions that we had as it related to the case. Ms. Makano had one more statement she wished to make as part of her presentation before we adjourn. So, Ms. Lilia Makano, what was it that you wished to tell the court in regards to the
1 or 2 days after he violated the TPO, he was at the location where I that I was staying where he was taken from, which is the North Drew Hills apartment. I came from the leasing office, trying to walk up the stairs and hearing a honk around me. I didn't even know it was for me. I was just paying attention of going up the stairs, and I see my mom trying to talk to me and stuff like that, her behind the honk, and I'm just going up the stairs because I need to change real quick before going to work. And I'm walking up the stairs almost close where I was almost close going up to the apartment door. And I see coming out of the apartment door was my brother Kalanda, who is supposed to stay 100 yards away from me on from the TPO.
And when about did this happen?
I think 1 or 2 days. I think the 20th or the 21st.
And so what happened next?
I backed up, seeing him coming out of the door slowly, because I don't know what he's gonna do, his reaction or anything like that, because I was told by the officer who arrested him, told me that I need to stay away from him, avoid contact with him, anything like that, which I did. So I'm backing up the stairs, talking to my mom, saying, I'm calling the police, no cap. Because she's talking to me basically the whole time of me being up the stairs. I don't know what she's saying and stuff like that. She's coming towards me from the stairs, telling her that I'm calling the police, no cap. He by the time I'm walking down from the stairs, he's also walking down from the stairs. Eventually I got from the floor, really getting away from him, talking to my mom, saying I'm calling the police, no cap. He's going to my mom. My mom is talking to me in a way of her feeling angry and frustrated, of wanting me to not have anything to do with her. He said that after I wasn't even talking to him, I was directly talking to my mom, directly talking to her, because I was listening to what the police officers was telling me. He told me not to make avoid contact with him, not to talk to him at all, which I did, just talking to my mom. And after I said I'm calling the police, no cap, he said, good luck calling the police. So we cut off your phone. And I knew that you know, I didn't say anything to him, because everyone knows that you could still call the police even if your phone is not shut off. And after that, I told my mom that I'm coming to the apartment on the 28th. And she says, no, that I'm getting you evicted. And I called the police, waiting at the leasing office for the police officer, and Officer Francisco came. I talked to him, telling him the whole thing from what happened the day of the arrest to now. And the thing is, after, you know, Officer Francisco gave me his card, told me what I need to do and stuff like that, I go they were already before Officer Francisco came, they were still at the apartment in their car. I saw them. He was on the property where I was. Officer Francisco said if I basically don't have, you know, video of him being there, then it's, you know, nothing I could really do about them all. You know, I just have to state what, you know, what I saw and everything that happened, and they have to state what they for them. So I go back to the leasing. I go back to my apartment after they all left. After Officer
Was that the
Francisco.
end of your interaction with them?
Yeah, after, before Officer Francisco came, that was the end of the reaction. But
Okay, so everything that happened involving other people is not part of this hearing. Whoever you talk to about it afterwards and whatnot is, what I'm interested in is the interactions between the two of you, because that is what the law says governs this decision. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here.
But I also have something to say.
You've
I
been
went-
saying quite a lot. What else
I
is
know,
left?
but when I went back to the apartment, we have a door lock that only locks from the inside. And I was the last one that left the house. I was there all by myself. I unlocked the door to make sure if I could go back inside coming from work. The door is locked and the door is locked. I can't get into the apartment, even with the key open. The bottom door is locked. So I go to the leasing office and telling them that it is locked. They're telling me that someone made a request of unlocking the door, Belombele, someone named Belombele, and before at 9:40 a.m. At 9:40 a.m. or before 9:40 a.m. So I asked to request a maintenance guy to come and unlock the bottom door. When he came, he had to change the locks. He had to change the whole doorknob for me
In
to.
the context of a family violence protective order, and I'm going to put the emphasis on the word violence at the moment, what am I supposed to be taking away from this? Because right now I don't know what details to latch on to as important, because I'm having trouble following this.
Okay, I'm saying that I truly believe that my brother purposely locked the bottom door of me getting back to the apartment during when he violated the TPO. During when he violated the TPO, making a intimidating comment to me of my safety, about communication with other people, and of him purposely knowing that he locked the bottom door of where the leasing office after 6 p.m. They are not there. The maintenance guy is not there. I will come home from work around 11 o'clock, trying to get in the house where it's locked, and there's no way I could ask for anyone, especially with the phone cut
So your
off.
testimony was that your mother was there, your mother who also resides at that location, correct?
Yes.
So why are you pinning the locking of the door on your brother
I wasn't
when your
there.
mother? No, sir. This is not directed toward you. We are not kicking that hornet's nest. Why are you pinning the locking of the door on your brother when you know your mother also has access to the property?
Because he was the last one getting out of that apartment before I came to getting inside the apartment. He
So
was
your
the-
answer is that you saw him leaving the apartment and your mother was
Yeah.
already in the car.
Yes,
Okay, so why would the lock have to be changed?
because the door was locked.
That's not a reason to change the lock. Maintenance would just unlock the door.
No, there's a bottom door that is can only be locked and open from the inside to get into the house. We use a tape. We use a tape to cover it to make sure that we could have the top one unlocked. That way we can get inside. If someone locks the bottom door, it doesn't matter if we open the top of one, the person will still be locked out.
Your Honor,
All right,
if I can say something,
I would rather you not. It is 5:17 in the PM, and we have been doing this for 9 o'clock, 8 hours and 17 minutes. And what I have heard from this case is that your mother and your brother are trying to find a place to live where you are not, ma'am. And irrespective of what happened during the argument that you and your adult brother had over the Popsicles, what I can tell you is that one of the questions I have to answer to grant a protective order is that this order is reasonably likely to prevent future acts of violence.
Yeah.
And in this case, what I am seeing is evidence from both your mother and your brother that they are trying vigorously to make a life for themselves apart from you, and that they wish to do that independently of you. And the representations that they are making through their actions and their words to this court today lead me to be confident, or at least comfortable enough, given the standards of proof involved in this hearing, that this protective order, even if I were inclined to find that acts of family violence have been committed by the respondent, that this order is not reasonably likely to prevent future acts of violence, because he is taking steps along with his mother to set up a new homestead where they can get a fresh start. And so based on the totality of the evidence today, this order will be, the 12-month order will be denied. When that dismissal is received by the court, the temporary order will be pulled off the system, and that will conclude this matter. The parties will be placed in the waiting room. They have concluded their business with the court for today, and they are free to log off.